Hi everybody, here's Krystian from the TeamworkCast.
And this is Gereon.
Welcome to our Terminal Directive campaign playthrough.
Full of spoilers.
Full of spoilers indeed. If you want to play Terminal Directive, you should turn off now, because we're gonna reveal all of the secret parts.
Yeah, we're opening all of the packs, sticking all the stickers on our pads, and revealing all of the secret cards in the Do Not Open Me packs.
Yes, so you can see actually Gereon reading his narrative part right now, and we're gonna show you, we're gonna tell you the story that's about to unfold right now.
The images spilling across the air before you are gruesome. Mangled bodies, blood sprayed across a black alley somewhere in Laguna Velasco. 3 dead. More images follow. The last one is familiar to you. You saw it on the newsfeed a few nights ago.
This is Victor Gray,
Explains Sloan, your new chief of security.
the UN bigwig on the Interplanetary Affairs Committee, found dead in his hotel. Drowning was ruled an accident.
Sloan pauses, reviewing his notes through his brain machine interface.
We know it was a homicide, though, covered up for 2 reasons. 1, things with Mars are tense enough as it is, and 2, the killer is a bioroid, and this is supposed to be impossible because the first directive forbids them from killing or even allowing a human to come to harm.
Sloan gestures, and the vert display swims back to the bloody alleyway murder.
It looks like either that same bioroid is still out there killing, or there's more than one murder bot out in the loose.
Sloan folds his arms behind his back and waits, his briefing done.
My staff is ready to pursue this. It's your order.
A renegade bioroid is a disaster for some, and an opportunity for others. One thing is clear. You must find it first. Mr. Sloan to see you, says your secretary, managing to sound unruffled and disapproving at the same time. Sometimes you wish you'd opted for a less advanced secretary AI. Sloan waves, and your window darkens and comes to life as a screen showing network traffic patterns, which are unintelligible to your eye. Sloan gestures again, highlighting 3 distinct patterns on the screen.
Here and here. These are 2 intrusions into our servers from this morning. Neither were successful. This third one, though, is a run at the NAPD, specifically looking for the Laguna Velasco triple homicide case file.
The screen wipes clear for an instant, then populates with a host of headshots and a handful of what must be digital avatars.
Pretty sure it's a runner, boss. My team will find him, don't worry. The good news is that the subject is an android,
says your principal legal advisor Zhang.
We don't need to file any extraordinary rendition paperwork or even admit we have it, unless we get subpoenaed, but I still advise caution.
You decide to follow 2 parallel strategies. The first is to attempt to solve the murder in the traditional way, gathering evidence and liaising with the NAPD where appropriate. The second is to attempt to predict the bioroid's next move and intercept it. Chief Sloan is confident that one of the 2 approaches will be successful, given time. But do you have enough time? You really should bring this to the board. You don't pay your secretary to be so fussy. In fact, you don't pay your secretary at all. It's an AI, a computer program that does a reasonable facsimile of a mother hen in the guise of a holographic person. Still, it's got a point. You are devoting a significant portion of the company's resources to what might amount to nothing. But if the board were notified, the directors might get involved. If they decide to get involved, they might remove you from the project. They might even remove you from your position. Your secretary accepts your decision with the exact same grace and respect you might expect from your grandmother. Well, let's call it a last resort then.
An old friend. The message had been signed Hertz, which is a handle you had almost forgotten. The last time you'd heard it was in the context of, whatever happened to Hertz? Anyone remember them? So probably a hoax. But what the hell? You'd open it. It was definitely them. From calling you lesser to a dozen other in-jokes. There's no way the message was faked, and no one else would have had the balls to slap a handful of NAPD watermark 3Ds of a murder scene into the data stream like that. So here you are, outside a Yucca Bean kiosk in Esmeralda's, about to meet Hertz face to face. The problem is that suddenly a cop walks up, kicks your foot and says, "Hey, Lesser," and sits down next to you. Okay, so, short version, the reason no one's heard from me in years is I'm a cop now. She shows you her badge, which flashes its ID at your pad. Investigator Inez Delgado. But I need outside help on this one. I got what looks like a spree killer that no one is investigating. She kicks your foot again to stall your protest. Here's the kicker. Killer's a bioroid. You in? Task: Ounce of Prevention. The playbook says the best time to win a battle is before it begins. Preparation is everything. You decide to take your time and start slow. There's no sense in tipping your hand and letting the authorities know you're chasing this murder. Your secretary, Proxy, agrees. Speaking as the most important resident of your rig, the last thing I want is for you to hit some gray or black ice and get my home scragged and melted. Let's get us some tools to work with. Objective: follow the trail. Delgado gives you meat box details to coordinate the investigation. Can't have you coming down to the station, she explains. Doubt you'd want to anyways. She introduces you virtually to Officer Frank, a voluptuous red-headed woman who seems equal parts nervous and exasperated with Delgado's attempts to saddle her with a nickname. Your role is simple, Delgado explains. We think one of the corps is trying to cover this up. I could crack everything open myself, except, surprise, I have no warrant. So that part is up to you. Find out what the corp knows that we don't. Brain and I, she says. That's not my name, Frank explains. Brain and I will keep working the forensic and eyewitness angles. You meet Delgado again in the private chat space, members only, which helps reassure you as to her true identity. You run into a few old friends there, actually. I can't mix these worlds up like this, Delgado explains. I can't be a cop and have to maybe bust you guys someday and also be chummy, but this is too important not to use all the assets I have. So, if it comes to it, her avatar shrugs, it might have to be all hands on deck. Garu's army! Shouts Sans Serif. No! Says someone else. The gang of Id! Nothing else productive happens that meeting.
And we're back. So this is going to be Steve versus Skorpios, right?
Yes. And we should probably mention that this is our second playthrough. The first time through we played Ayla versus Cider. I was Ayla, you played Cider, HB, the new identity from Terminal Directive. And basically I got my ass handed to me.
It was very one-sided.
Yes.
It was very, very one-sided. And we were very concerned about this because it felt very imbalanced. But
absolutely.
So we decided to give it another go with reverse roles and different IDs. And this time, I think there's some exciting things going up.
Yes. I think we can say up front we had a lot more fun than we had the first time through. And there's going to be some exciting games. And it's going to be an exciting finish.
Yes. It's going to come down to. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you should stick around.
Yes.
Some of the games might be a bit slower because this is not like a high-profile tournament kind of play. This is just us playing at a table and drinking a lot of beer, missing a lot of triggers, especially the triggers on the pads that we have below there.
Yes, that's actually one of the concerns I have about Terminal Directive. If it's a recommended expansion for beginners, I think it's actually very, very hard to play because once your pad starts filling up with triggers, you are bound to miss them.
Yes. And so there are actually already 2 triggers on our pad. So on the left is the runner, Steve Cambridge. And his ability is that when I run on HQ, I can recur 2 cards. I can pick 2 cards and then the corporation decide. And then I have also a trigger on the pad, which says whenever the corporation scores a agenda, I get 2 credits.
Exactly. And the Skorpios ability is that whenever a card is trashed for the first time during...
Like this one, for example, now?
This one, for example, the corp can tell the runner to remove it from the game.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that you're going to do...
fairly often.
Yeah. So that's not going to be a lot of recursion, but at least there's a lot of interaction. So yeah, I'm running on HQ there, and there's going to be a wall of static that stops me. Then I get through on R&D. We should have placed. We should just set on the left side so we could see always what kind of card I'm accessing. But apparently not an agenda. If I had scored an agenda, there would have been a trigger for some kind of ability that you have, right?
Yeah, but actually, I don't remember.
Yeah, it is the one.
Yeah.
So it was like something like you draw a card and you shuffle one card.
Yeah, right. I draw the top card from R&D,
yeah,
and then I can return one card from HQ to the top of R&D. So I get to choose which card you access next, or the card that I draw the next time.
Yeah, so that's something. Both of these triggers on those pads we're gonna miss very frequently. But never mind, we go, eventually we'll get better at this.
We'll be better at that and start missing other triggers. So the other things that we should mention is that we already have objectives in the game and something that would trigger our cautions, and that's basically win 2 games to progress with the story and lose 4 games, if I remember correctly.
I think you lose just 2 games or 3.
Lose 2 or 3 games.
Sure.
To trigger the cautions.
Yeah. So winning games opens a story pack. Losing games also opens a story pack. And I think each one of us has an objective. I have to install like 3 programs at the same time. Mm-hmm. I have to have 3 programs installed at the same time. And yours is, I'm not sure what yours was.
Something with tags, if I remember.
Yeah, I think you have to give me tags or something. Yeah. Okay, so far, while we're describing what's happening, so far the runner has face checked a lot of cards.
Yeah, just the wall of static, right?
Yeah.
And then the bane of all corporations, sneak door beta.
Great card. I love it. That's in the core set. And that also allowed me to steal a very important agenda from your hand, Gereon. Yeah. That is the new card called Grifter. Is that Grifter? Graft.
Yeah. It's one of the new 5/3s.
Very juicy agenda.
And meanwhile, I start icing up archives as well, because I need to keep you out.
Yeah, so there's going to be an Enigma on R&D that stops me, and then there's going to be a Data Raven on archives, which also stops me.
Yeah, and which basically gives away my game plan. Not really unusual for Wayland.
Yeah, Wayland is known for trying to tag the runner and kill them.
That's my Terminal Directive attempt at a tag and bag deck.
Okay, so as a runner, I've been locked out all of the servers, so now is the time where I start drawing for cards, looking for solutions for the kind of ice that you set up for me. And for you, you're at 4 credits. Mm-hmm. So now it's for you time to ice up and start...
Yeah, ice up, start building a remote, shore up on economy, and basically start scoring agendas as fast as I can.
Yeah, especially the economy right now is a bit of a problem. Of course, your idea with the core set is like a C-Source Scorch thing?
Yes, of course. And I need money for that. I need, I think, 8 credits more than you have to fire off this combo.
I think it's just 6.
Or 6 or 7.
Depending on how many Scorches you have.
And so Hostile Takeover right now would be excellent.
Definitely.
Because I don't basically care for bad publicity.
Yeah. So I got out the Corroder here.
Corroder, Data Sucker, and now Siphon.
Beautiful account Siphon here with a Data Sucker as well. Yeah. So I even get a token for this. Technically, Steve's ability would trigger now, but I only have 1 card in the discard pile.
And you got me back down to 1 credit.
Yep. That's the bane of the criminals. That's why criminals were so strong in the core set. The account Siphon is really a beautiful card there. Also, I installed the Sacrificial Construct there because I was like crazy afraid
of Hunter Seeker. Which I did have in my deck.
At least at this point. Maybe you will have in the future. I will definitely keep the Sacrificial Construct around for a very, very long time. Yeah. Of course, you, the Gereon, decided to remove Account Siphon from the game after it was trashed, after being used. I think that's a fair choice. That's a good choice for
because that's basically the play you want to make with Steve. You want to have 2 of the same kind in archives, and then when you run HQ, you can show 2 Account Siphons to the corp.
Yeah, and that's a very bad choice.
Yeah.
So now I fulfilled my obligation and my goal of having 3 programs installed.
Yeah.
I feel like the first tasks that you open in the first pack, they are kind of like those demo packs that you usually achieve like in the first game or so.
But it gives you a nice boost. It's 6 credits or so.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
It's not bad at all. And of course I was able to remove the tags. And now you're down to 1 credit. Very, very bad situation for the corp right now. Especially since R&D HQ is often open right now.
It's basically open with Kuroda. And you have, 16 credits or something?
16 credits, 1 data sucker, so it's just 1 credit to get into HQ.
Yeah, it's... There's not too many economy cards in the deck. It's basically beanstalks, hedge funds... And IPOs, and I'm out of reach of at least 2 of them.
And so now I get out actually this single 1 Desperado in my deck. Yay! So now runs on HQ will be actually for free because
that's maybe something we should mention. We actually stuck to the recommended deck building rules. So exactly 1 core set and 1 set of Terminal Directive cards.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good experience. Maybe not so much in our first playthrough. Yes. I think the Shaper build might...
They suffer badly from not having SMC.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe having like 1 big expansion for them would be good. But I think Criminal is doing quite fine with just 1 core set. So I ran on HQ and I found the something servers, defended servers... armored server, fortified server.
Something, yeah.
Pretty good agenda.
But actually, most of these agendas are fillers in this deck. I'm not playing them really for their abilities.
You scoring out is not really something that you want to go for. Yeah. At least so it would seem at first. Let's see how this develops. Okay, so now finally you find your economy cards. Sure Gamble and IPO is a really good... A hedge fund and IPO. It's a really good combination there.
Yeah, IPO, we should probably say it's one of the new cards in Terminal Directive. It's like Restructure, but you can only play it on your last click. It's a terminal. Yeah. Oh, you can play it before, of course, but why would you? And it only costs 8 to play instead of 10.
Yeah, so it's a really good economy card that we will probably see in tournament cards as well. I keep running HQ and find another agenda, putting me up to 6
Yeah, but
points.
That's the sniper's luck you always have when we play.
Yeah, and something that we have to also maybe mention now that I was able to install Inés Delgado, Investigator Inés Delgado, which is kind of like a resource. And that resource is I can add it to my score area as a 0-point agenda whenever I scored an agenda.
Exactly.
And she is kind of like the story card for the runner. And the idea is that I would progress my story if she is in my score area when I win the game.
When you win the game, yeah. And the same is true basically for the corporation side. You get 3 agendas, evidence collection, and when you win the game with one of those agendas in your score area, you progress the story also.
Yeah. Hopefully we're going to see them in this first play as well, like the corporation side of the card. But for me, it's like if I just find 1 more agenda, I not only just win the game, but I also progress my story.
And open up new new stickers and new cards.
Yeah. So again, you do the very, very reasonable thing of shoring up the HQ a little bit more, so I cannot get simple access on HQ anymore.
Yes.
And then you find even another beanstalk. That's good. You're not sure if you installed, if you paid twice, if you paid for the install already, and I checked and you actually did. So you paid 1 credit too much I think.
It's not a game deciding thing, I think.
Yeah, we have to warn maybe some sensitive listeners because there's going to be a lot of misplays here, especially as we're continuing on. We're going to miss a lot of triggers and miscount a lot of times.
Easy mark.
There's going to be easy mark on my side. Not the worst of economy cards for runners. Yeah, so far I only have 1 breaker, so this is a big of a problem. But now, that's great. I got out the decoy, which for me is a very, very important card. I didn't realize that at that time I only have 1 in my deck. But it's actually something that really puts a damper on your Seesaw Scorch plan. So the decoy can prevent a tag. And of course, that tag is so crucial for the corporation. Gereon has to really think a lot about right now. You created a remote server there.
And maybe actually a little too early. Because I probably in hindsight should have put more eyes on HQ before starting up building a scoring remote.
Yeah, those account siphons. I mean, they only have one more account siphon there, but those can be very, very annoying and can set you back quite a lot in your plan. I'm doing quite well actually. Like I just need the 2 other breakers for code gates and for sentries now. Luckily, the expansion, the Terminal Directive expansion, has some really good selections of breakers for criminals.
Funny enough, they are not in the recommended FFG recommended example decks.
So weird.
This is so weird.
And just keep drawing. Like there's not a lot of draw cards for the runners, so you have to manually draw a lot.
Yeah, unless you're Shaper and have access to Diesel.
Or like the Shaper has some card draw stuff. Yeah, they also have like this new console that lets you draw.
Oh yeah, Ubax, which is also it's nice, but it's too expensive, I think.
Yeah, it's very expensive. 4 credits or something.
5.
Oh, oof.
And then only 1 MU, but the drawability is good.
Definitely. So Maxwell James is something I play, which I think I underutilized throughout this playthrough, but it's also partly due to you have very cheap eyes, so it's not doing too much. But yeah, Maxwell James is kind of like the emergency shutdown, but as a resource. So the idea is that after I ran on HQ, on that turn, I can trash Maxwell James to derez an ice. And there's even like a timing thing that I didn't realize at that time, but you can also do where it's like, if you do it at the right time, you can derez an ice while you encounter it. And,
oh, wow.
And then the corporation doesn't have the ability to re-res it.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of like skip an ice. Yeah, that's pretty neat. But yeah, I'm just expanding my board. I can kind of lean back a little bit right now because I'm so far ahead. I can re-prepare my kind of like final assault on your servers.
Yeah, and you can just wait for my HQ filling up with agendas, which is probably starting right about now.
Yeah, you do not have any Jackson Howards?
Yeah, there's the only recursion really on Corp side is archived memories.
So really what I'm waiting for is like for you to maybe fill up with your HQ with agendas and maybe start discarding them in your archives, believing that I won't run, and then maybe accidentally running on it, and then it's like bam. So I got out the Lustig Breaker, which is the sentry breaker from the new criminal breakers, and also have Komatsu mentioned there, giving me some additional MU because I'm filling up with MU. There's like 4 programs there. One of them is 2. There you go. Finally.
Hostile.
First score.
First score, money.
I also forget to get 2 credits for this, but never mind. So yeah, my pet ability would give me 2 credits for this. I will be pretty good at remembering this, but for this first game, it's not so much. Keep drawing stuff. I still need the code gate breaker. Because I see a code gate there on the R&D.
Yeah, you need it for R&D.
And I'm kind of not drawing what I need.
And that's Armitage code busting.
Armitage code busting there on the top, like a very basic, very good core set card. And that gives you 2 credits for click. I'm discarding a special order here, so I could have used a special order to get the code gate break. I wonder why I didn't do it. So now there's a small discussion here, but apparently discarding cards at the end of your turn is not trashing them.
Exactly.
So that's a way for Steve to get cards in his discard pile. So
overdraw, discard.
Yeah.
Because Skorpios doesn't deal with that.
Of course, if you discard those cards, then you haven't played them, so recurring them doesn't seem like a great option there.
But now, on the other hand, it's the first time you can actually use your ability, because now you have 2 cards in archives.
I will assure you will forget about that.
Heap.
Yes. In a heap. All right, so you created a server there with 2 ice. And of course, in my mind, these are like the most horrible ices, like troll booths and I don't know, Grims.
Yeah,
and,
Data Raven, troll booth.
Everything. Only the worst ice. It doesn't even. It doesn't make sense for me to even run on this. Lots of thinking going on right now. Weiß werden wir am besten vorspulen können.
Ja. Kannst du auf jeden Fall. Whose turn is it? Is it my turn?
I think it's your turn.
Why am I thinking so much?
It's
what am I thinking about?
It's you. I mean, you have more money than I do. A lot of more money.
More money, yeah. But you have decoy, so Seesaw's Scorch is basically out of the question.
So what is your plan right now?
I think, how do I score agendas? I probably have an evidence collection in hand by now, and I'm not sure how and if I can score this. So I need to build a more beefy server.
That's good. And get you more money.
Get more money, because I need to be able to res whatever.
Something I really like about your deck, and something that I had no idea about this because this is our first game. We haven't looked at each other's deck lists. You have a lot of traps, or at least some traps.
I have some traps, yes.
And so that's also an opportunity for you to kill me if I run into a snare at an unopportune moment. Or if I get into a Project June bug or something, that can also be the end of me.
Yeah, snare is especially good, I think, in a deck that actually wants to tag you.
Yeah,
because you get that tag at a point in time where you don't count on it. I mean, you know where the data ravens are, but you're probably not counting on hitting snares in a Valent deck. So
it can mess up your math, and I really like how the Enigma is playing into this plan as well, where it's like, oh, it's better to run on the last click because it's cheaper on the last click.
Exactly.
And then, of course, that's when you get the snare and get killed. 4-ice server, man, this is the worst server in my mind. This is like, all of these are like just toll booths. It's just 4 toll booths there. And then install advanced. So I'm like, oof. I don't have any code gate breaker. I could maybe get one, but I'm just at 9 credits at this point.
But even if you get it, you're way too poor to get through.
Yeah.
With the data sucker token.
I do have the Crash Space, which is one of my favorite anti-Scorches cards, which is really good in like a tournament setting, because usually you get more than one tag. So I have like a double protection against Scorch right now.
That's probably why I'm switching to start scoring, because you have decoy, you have Crash Space, so tagging has become increasingly difficult.
So this is me getting in an Abnegale. Indeed, I'm completing the rig, so I can break every ice right now. I can break the code gates with the Abnegale. I can break the barriers with Corroda. I can break the sentries with Lustig.
Do we even have a name for this new suite of breakers? The Conmen?
Conmen, something like that. Yeah. We haven't established any good names for those yet. But I really love Abnegale. I think this is one of the. I mean, it's a beautiful card art, and it's also a very useful breaker. I think we're going to see that breaker a lot in the following tournaments. There we go, account siphon. That's the third click though. Third click. I won't be able to remove all of the tags.
You can spend the decoy for one.
Yeah, that was my plan indeed.
Remove the tag for the.
But as you mentioned, you completely screw that plan up with a
data raven.
Yeah,
because that would be 3 tags.
I could maybe break it. I think it costs like 5 credits to break it with.
But still 3,
with
right?
Lustig.
Oh yeah, and fizzle on the account siphon ability and start accessing.
I mean, no. The idea was that I would still use the account siphon ability, but I would just I would be tagged to Kingdom Come, and then he would scorch me. So instead, I decide to actually bounce off the data raven, because you can decide to not jack out. It's not jacking out. It's ending the run. And then that account siphon didn't go as planned, and then I have still one more click left. So it's kind of funny because I was almost winning this game. But suddenly, I'm having trouble getting that last agenda. But I can break any ice now, so maybe
any agenda you access would renew the game, right?
Yeah.
So
doing some math in my head right now. Okay, getting the money from Armitage code busting. And that leaves you wide open for a score, I think, if that's an agenda. Indeed it is. And that gets you your armored servers. So now the token can be used. And how does it work exactly?
Spend it during a run and basically make the runner pay extra for each encountered subroutine.
I think it's like you have to discard a card for each
discard a card to break a subroutine as an additional cost to break each subroutine.
Yeah, and then also to jack out as well. Yeah. So jacking out also costs.
Jacking out also costs money, and with a server with like 4-5 deep, there are bound to be at least 5 or 6 subroutines. So it's gonna be very, very expensive.
But look at me, I'm just like, okay, make us eye. I think
make us eye.
Let's take this game home. Yeah. Like this is gonna be. It's not even that much ice in front of it. It's just an ice wall. Very simple ice to break. Yeah. I have a bad pub too, so that's not going to be a big deal. I think I'm doing a mistake here. I think I'm breaking it with a wrong breaker. Again, the first time we used some of those cards, so I'm using Lustig to break the Enigma instead of the Epic Nail. Alright, the math is done. I'm gonna get the 3 accesses. Nope. Nope. Actually, I'm trashing this. Oh, that's a KP Lin, I think is the name. It's a nasty upgrade. And it's your turn. Down to 6 credits. You're at an 11. Whiffed on that Maker's Eye. And yeah, like a good corporation, you're just like, oh, there's a weakness there. Let's make sure.
Too cheap for you to get in.
Let's make sure there's going to be a bit more costly, and of course, then using IPO to get ahead in economically. Really nice. And again, I think you paid the wrong amount of credits for the install. I'm not exactly sure.
Didn't I pay 2? Okay.
Yeah. I think you paid 3. Not sure. It's good that you paid attention to this kind of stuff. So I used Armitage now, and it was trashed afterwards because it was the last credits on this. But you basically said use your ability to remove it from the game. So I'm doing an inside job on R&D. And it's actually more expensive than if I just ran on it. But again, at this point, I'm expecting every ice to be like this most horrible thing.
Like Data Raven.
Yes, everything is Data Raven. I mean, we have 2 Data Ravens there, so...
Actually, 3.
2.
I have 2 on the board.
On the board,
I have 3.
You have 3 in your deck,
3 in my deck, yes.
So I'm looking for the third one. And later on, you will get some other nasty ice, but we're not going to spoil that yet. So yeah, I think I saw Archive Memories there on R&D. And suddenly, all of the economy cards. Yeah. I think that might be almost all of them right now.
Yeah, I think all 3 IPOs are already gone. There's probably one more beanstalk left.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Something like this, perhaps. So I'm at 6 credits. You of course know how much it takes to break the server. Probably way less than I think it does. but you still have some.
The limiting factor is actually how much do I have to pay to res all of these pieces of ice.
Especially after I ran through it, because maybe you want some kind of follow-up. But of course, if I see an agenda, then it's going to be game over anyway. Unless you install a snare in there, then you want to have 4 credits to trigger the snare and then scorch me afterwards. So something that is kind of like... I think we're never going to have this situation, but something that's kind of like difficult about the token on your agenda is that, if you launch it at the beginning of the run, then the runner can decide not to break an end the run subroutine, and then that's over. Then it can run again, and then that doesn't.
Yeah, you have to wait until the runner has committed of actually following through.
Yeah,
or if it absolutely desperately needs to get in there too.
Yeah,
because the corp is on match point.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the timing of when you use the token is a bit difficult. You need really big, deep servers for this to really work well. So that, there's a point where it's like, oh, Jesus, I'm so far into it, I'm not going to check out now. I will continue still. Yes. But it will cost me a lot.
You can try to bait the runner into the fallacy of sunken cost.
Yes, that's exactly how it works. But of course, then at the end, it's like, maybe the runner won't run out of cards. But you might get them low enough so that you just need one Scorched Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe that single snare will just kill me immediately. There's some math going on while I run on R&D to see a card. I think this time I realized that I'm using the Abnegale. Should use the Abnegale instead of the Lustig. Still no dice on R&D. I just should run on HQ all the time and snipe it.
And you're very good at that.
But HQ is actually quite good protected. Like with the Data Raven, it's like 5 credits to break it, and still I use need another click to remove the tag. It's really tough. But data suckers, I think I can maybe get it down a little bit. But of course, in a core set, there is no multi-access on HQ.
No, there's a medium and Maker Sites, the only multi-access cards.
Yeah. So you
use
Archive Memories to get a mystery card.
Apparently, a piece of ice.
And start something in front of R&D. And gets a credit. Lots of thinking. It looked like as if this game was over very quickly, but now we're so deep into this, and it seems like the runner can't get the final agenda.
Yeah, and I basically need to try to get you so you can't run every turn, because it needs to be more expensive than that.
Definitely.
And you now have 8 credits. So
yeah, 8 credits, exactly. But I think there's another Armitage going up.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. With the Armitage, I can get, I think it's 12 credits on the Armitage, right? So it costs 1, so it's 11 credits.
That 11 over the course of 6 clicks.
Yeah.
I mean, in some decks, it was good last year. It's not that it was not played anymore.
No.
It's like Magnum Opus, it's a good economy card.
I would even say it's better than Magnum Opus. I mean, Magnum Opus is kind of like nice because it stays forever and you can use it over and over again. But it's like, if you actually count how many times you use Magnum Opus, I think just having 3 Armitages is often better because it's a lower install cost.
And the tax of the 2 MU is also pretty high.
Yeah, that's true.
So now I put something in this remote.
So again,
is it an agenda?
Yeah, if that's an agenda,
then I will be on 5 points after that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking. Like, if that's an agenda...
Five is probably something you can let me go.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't have to run it now, so I won't.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm installing the Charlatan, which is a new card as well. I have to read it up. I'm using the Charlatan to skip Data Raven.
And
so I'm not getting the tag. Hopefully I played right. I'm not sure if this is how it works, but the idea is that you can skip an ice if you pay the rest cost for it. No, the strength.
the strength, yes.
So it costs 4, and I skipped that Data Raven. It's
a pretty expensive inside job, isn't it?
yeah,
More or less.
but it's on a stick. It doesn't go
Yeah.
away. So my ideas were that I could use this to get cheap HQ runs. Oh, my ability triggered, I think. My ability triggered. I think you got me an inside job or something. Or maybe a sure gamble. But yeah, basically, what was it? What is it? Oh, I think it's an illegal arms factory that I got there. Which doesn't give me a bad pub when I trash it from HQ, so I'm not going to trash it now. So my idea was that I'm going to use the Charlatan to get cheap HQ accesses, but when I do the math, it's actually I'm just saving 1 credit over just breaking the Data Raven. And I not even saved a click on removing the tag afterwards because it costs 2 clicks to do the Charlatan run. So, long story short, it's actually probably wasn't a good investment, but hey, new card, I have to try it. Doing an inside job on R&D. You don't rest anything there, but so I get in there. And still nothing on R&D. Where are the agendas? At this point, I'm suspecting you might have ditched some agendas in the archives.
I don't think there are hidden cards in archives right now. Maybe later in the game. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
But I used the archive memories to get one of the hidden cards back.
Definitely.
Which was a piece of ice.
Okay, you're checking the decoy if that's what are the things that will stop you from Cease or Scorch? Because I guess this is a very good moment to do this. I only have 3 credits.
Yeah, you're low on money. I have plenty. But I probably won't be able to land the tag.
Yeah. Okay, apparently this was something that I shouldn't have run on. That's good. But you install advance.
Yeah, forcing your hand.
Yeah, this is difficult now because if that's a 3-point agenda, you will still not win the game. But you will be close. Okay.
You have 3 cards in hand.
I don't have too much credits. I can't.
Yeah, 3 credits. It's
a scoring window.
That's basically the definition of scoring, I would say.
So I decide, okay, maybe I won't get this agenda, but I will
just money up.
Will get the next one.
And this is craft.
Oof. So this is rough now because you can, I think, get 2 cards on HQ. Is that true? Or 3? 2, 3?
2.
2, I think. You have to show them, which makes no sense, but makes up for more drama.
Oh, up to 3.
Up to 3.
I was just reading out loud.
Okay, up to 3. So what kind of cards? Like, you could get breaking news and just end the game.
You mean hostile?
Hostile takeover, yeah. That's what I meant. And just end the game, right?
Yeah, I could, but I don't think I have 3 hostiles in that deck.
Oh, is that so? So because that was what I was afraid of. Like, okay, this is going to be end. You get a Scorched Earth, which, should give me an idea. I mean, if I didn't know it by now, I do now.
Not really surprising.
Yeah. That's a really tough decision right there, because it's like, it's not very obvious what will help you to get the last agenda out. I'm kind of like up on credits now. I have 9 credits plus a bad pub, But Capelin might be a good choice here as an upgrade, so something that gives me tags. On the other hand, of course, if I win, the tags don't matter.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to play the graft ability, is to either put your winning agenda back on hand or something that deters runs on HQ, like snares or stuff like that. Because it's a little bit like Celebrity Rift. You show them to the runner so they know what risk they're taking when they run HQ.
I think I remembered my ability for the first time. I'm so glad that I finally. It's not the best agenda that you scored. The graft agenda. It's not as good as the what's the HB one, where you get 2 biotic labors basically for free.
Yeah.
Elective upgrades.
Elective upgrades.
Okay, I'm doing the charlatan run again. I want to snipe that agenda, and is there an agenda on hand?
I don't know.
I'm sure there is one. I can feel it. I just need to snipe it. Okay. Some thinking on the math, but yeah, there we go. Ah, finally! Second trigger of my ability. 2 economy cards.
Hermitage.
Okay, you give me the Armitage back, which is, I think, a good choice because that gives me an economy, but it takes longer for me to get that money.
And wastes clicks.
Come on, agenda! Nope, it's Capelin. Will I trash Capelin?
Is it worth it?
I mean, you could put it on on HQ, and what then, you know?
Yeah, you do.
So I decided to trash her. Now I don't have any money. I don't think I have enough money to run on HQ one more time. I mean, I could, but I would give you a huge scoring window. Oh, actually, no, I'd actually go all in. I actually want to see...
Again, charlatan, 2 clicks.
I mean, I trash Capelin, so I'm guaranteed to see a new card. This is gonna be... this is exhausting. No. What did you say again about me sniping agendas from your hand all the time?
Yeah, but usually you do.
There we go. That's a slap with a glove in my hand. Like, go for it with your 2 credits. Try to get in the server. It looks bad. How the tables have turned. I'm not very happy.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Nope. It was a really, really good scoring window that you got there. Lots of thinking. Like, one thing I could do, maybe install the Armitage
and just money up.
But then that would give me 3 credits, I think, and I could just click for credits then. It's like no difference. Actually, I'm running on HQ. I'm getting the tag. I'm ignoring the data read because I feel that this is my last turn, so I can just get the tags. It doesn't matter. And so I'm getting...
Actually, you make money during the run.
So that's
disregarding the tag, obviously.
My ability even triggers. Maybe you will give me something useful back. I think you will give me back the oh, there we go. You give me back the data sucker, which won't help me at all. But whatever. At least more cards. I'm trying to get the find the agenda there. No. Doing it again. Come on, man. It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
4 tags at this point. Oh, well, it's good to diffuse that, but it's not what I wanted. So that was the
Junebug. Yeah.
I guess that gives me information for my next game with you. Now running R&D, and there is an unrest ice. I mean, it's ice walls, what could it be, right?
Ice walls don't matter.
Yeah.
Data Raven, even a Data Raven wouldn't really, because
it is an archer. You actually forfeit an agenda for this, so you're down to just 5 points. But yeah, the archer is quite of a rest right now. Not what I wanted to see. See, that's what I meant. Sometimes it's like just ice walls, but this time it's actually significant. And actually use the ability of Lustig to break him.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't realize at the point. At that point, it was a mistake raising the archer, because the ability on Abnegale
Lustig.
on Lustig basically invalidates.
Well, at least one.
Yeah, at least one. Yeah, but in that case, it's not really been worth forfeiting the hostile takeover.
Yeah. I guess that didn't really change. But on the other hand, if there's another archer on your other server, maybe.
Yeah.
So I got through it, and finally, my last gig I run on archives because I expect there to be at least one stored agenda, but alas, there was not.
Yeah. But you see the snare that I discarded earlier,
and then you win with evidence collection. Even
that's a little bit of a saving grace for me, because if I knew that obviously that it was there, so I could actually forfeit the hostile takeover without losing the game the next turn, or not winning the game next turn. So.
Yeah, really good. So we can see if I could have gotten in here, because actually it's just 3 credits for the Ice Walls and Enigma, and that one is a Hortum, I think, right? So it's like Strength Fear and 2 separate teams or something. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That would have cost me 7 credits to get in.
Plus a couple of cards, because I had the token on
the
fortified service.
Yeah, so maybe that would actually that might have been a really good scoring window for you there. So it was maybe a really really safe score there. Amazing turnaround.
That was actually
a super good start for this.
Surprising win, yeah. And I immediately got to advance my story.
Yes, because you scored evidence collection.
I won a game with evidence collection in my score area.
Yeah. So we're gonna see next time around how this story continues. And until next time, and as always, hack the planet!
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in the car!
Shit on me.
This took a lot longer than expected. We put a lot of effort into this, so I hope you guys will enjoy this series. I'm looking forward to what you guys will say about this. So it's time now for the regular Patreon shoutouts, and today's shoutout is going to be to Matthew P, who's been joining us in 2015, so back in the early days, and he's been supporting us up till this point. Thank you for your support, Matthew. I appreciate it a lot. And if you want to support us, of course, you can always go down there to the Patreon campaign at patreon.com/hacktheplanet.